This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. We're in Las Vegas. I'm delighted to be joined by the Juggernaut for the second time in a couple of weeks. We're the other side of the pond this time, Joe. How are things? Haven't seen you since that eventful press conference day, which we'll come on to, but how have you settled?
Yeah, settled in well. Obviously, I'm no stranger to Vegas, and there's plenty going on here. With a big fight on the weekend, and it's good to be back. I started off my career in Vegas, doing two of my two training camps out here. So, it's just kind of picking up from where I left off, especially with Ismail Salas back in my corner. So I've gone kind of full circle now. And it's good to be working on this and building on the stuff I've learned from Abel and also Adam.
Last time you and I spoke at that press conference, you'd parted ways with Adam. You hadn't announced you'd be returning to Ismail just yet. That said, we now know you're here. You've had your first sparring session under his sort of tutelage again today. Tell me about that decision to come back here and to work with Ismail.
I think because of the magnitude of this fight that's coming up, I need to, I thought obviously the training situation. It's about the training situation because I was getting on well with Adam Booth, H, and Charlie in the gym. Learning stuff, and my training setup was good, but I just wanted to make sure that everything was the best possible. I didn't want to look back and say I could have changed this, I could have changed that. So it's best to do it before this such a big fight, and I think the training situation here suits me a lot better, and it's great to be back with Salas.
Do you think there's a benefit in being away from home comforts as well?
Because there's definitely a lot of home comforts, and I felt that I was a little bit trapped from where I lived, and I don't know, it's nice to be out here. There's a lot more energy, and I think I'm doing a lot better.
Since you turned professional, you've been moved very aggressively. You've shown a willingness to fight anybody who will take the fight. You've had plenty of people knock fights back in the last couple of years. How nice is it in your mind to know that it's there now? You've got the big fight you've so craved, and the fight that can springboard you right to the top of the heavyweight mix as well.
Yeah, it's obviously, it's a struggle getting fights for me. Sometimes I'd have an opponent and then they would change their mind, and So, but I've tactically gone up the rankings and picked up a Commonwealth, WBA Continental, WBA Gold belt, and I almost fought Huck for the European, but obviously that fell through. So I've had some good wins, and obviously this is the best fight out there for me. So I'm happy and I'm ready to go to work.
Came in here today to do these interviews, and when I arrived, you were in the midst of your first spar back in camp. Was it nice to get back to it and get that old feeling back as well, get to work?
Yeah, it's good to be back in the ring and working on stuff and blocking shots, slipping shots, getting hit through a few shots, firing back, and getting back in the flow and swing of things. Yeah, it's really good. I haven't sparred since I think in December. Yeah, so it's been a bit of a while, and in my mind I'm like, I could come back, do 12 rounds sparring, no problem. Yeah. But I did 6 rounds, and I think that was I felt my fitness, and it's good to get back in there.
Now, just to go back to the last time I saw you, had that huge media day to announce the fight with Daniel Dubois. Before you came to the press conference and saw the likes of myself, you've been on television, you've been on radio. What was that experience like, just you and Daniel sort of following each other around all day doing all this media? Was it training?
Yeah, that was a busy day. I was fueled by coffee, the whole thing. I think we started about 5, I got up at 5, got there for 5:30, and it was a long day. Towards the end, I lagged a bit. I had to, get a bit of food down me, and I was really struggling. And then we did so many face-offs and that, and then we was doing a bit of filming in this kind of warehouse kind of atmosphere thing. And I think towards the end of it, we did 3 stare-offs. On the third one, I couldn't keep a straight face. I was it's been I didn't think I left there till 7:30, 8 o'clock. So it was a busy day.
Both of you came out the blocks line. You mentioned you'd had 1 or 15 coffees in preparation for that day. Were you surprised by some of Daniel's comments, though? Some of them rather sinister in the press conference?
Yeah, well, it just shows his character, doesn't it? Shows what kind of man he is. So, or boy, obviously the comments about my mum and that's like, it shows he hasn't been brought up right, and it just makes him it makes him the bad guy, and it just makes it so much better when I beat him in April that, just put him in his place.
You mentioned there the comments about your mum. Did that make it that little bit more personal for you when you heard that? And were you sort of taken aback at the time as well when you heard it?
Yeah, well, it just exposed his... that's probably why I didn't say too much, because... stuff comes out, innit? But it's obviously at the heat of the moment, and I guess he was coming out of his shell. He was talking a lot. He was talking a lot that day, and I was quite surprised. Everyone thought it'd be like a really dull press conference. Obviously, with me, I'm not the most that's not my best skill speaking. So, and neither is it his. But we managed to get through and get some get some conversations and confrontations with our words.
Now, Joe, another huge heavyweight fight. I'm in Las Vegas this week for Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury 2. Just seen the grand arrivals today, both in very, very good spirits. Are you like me? Are you teeter-tottering on who's going to win as we edge closer?
Yeah, definitely. I've changed my mind quite a few times. It's being put on the spot. Who's going to win? It's a tough one, isn't it? Like obviously Fury, I thought won the first time he won. I thought he won every round apart from the 2 10-8 rounds with a massive knockout, and he managed to get up. But I've heard more and more interviews and stuff from both of them, and how they're doing with their training camps and what happened last time. Obviously there was Deontay said he had hand trouble, and he didn't even throw the right hand till the fight. For sparring and that, he was just saving it back. So obviously maybe that might have had some effect while he didn't land properly, and I don't know. Well, he landed properly, definitely with that punch. But I'm saying, and then also with Tyson Fury, he was massively overweight, and within those 6 months that he got himself back into fitness, so he wasn't quite at 100%. He just lost all the weight, and so with this, the camp, both of them are. They're going to be in the best possible shape possible, and their training camps have, obviously been growing great, and we're just going to get. It's just going to be the next level fight, isn't it?
Now, Tyson's made his intentions clear in the build-up. He says he wants to be a bit more aggressive, maybe trade a bit more at times, plant his feet a bit more, and he says that's his reason for going over to Sugar Hill and leaving Ben Davison as a fellow heavyweight who's fought at the very top as an amateur and now making your way in the pro game as well. How can he do that without putting himself at serious risk when he's in there with arguably the hardest puncher on the planet?
Well, yeah, I guess he's got. I guess he's a more experienced coach. Is it Sugar Hill? And I think maybe he needs that, and he's learning a few different things here and there to maybe, I don't know, come with a different game plan, because some of the punches he was hitting him with the first fight, they were troubling him, but as he said in his interview, that he didn't think he had enough energy to go at him when he was troubled. And I think now obviously he's not left the gym, he's used the gym as his therapy, so he's going to come back with a much stronger physical body and go hit him with some shots. And with Fury's style, he's not going to get hit with what returns, but also Wilder, he's quite patient to just wait and just wait for the right opportunity. So he can obviously end the fight whenever he wants. So Fury's just going to have to be switched on. But if he's come with a different game plan and he wants to get him out there, it's going to, I don't know, it's just going to be an exciting fight.
you think it could make a bit of a difference for Tyson Fury? You mentioned the weight going into the last fight, and by his dad's admission, he probably would have preferred to take that first fight maybe 6 months later down the line. I think it makes a big difference that this time he's not preparing for Deontay Wilder and trying to shed weight as well. He's purely focusing on the fight.
Yeah. So maybe that will be the changing factor that will get him the win. And I don't know. I'm just. It's tough, isn't it? It's still sitting on the fence, but I want Tyson to win. You know, I've had some time with him in Big Bear and that, and I think he's a better fighter technically, and that's no. But I mean, obviously Wilder as well. I've met him. He's a very respectful person outside of the press conference, and as long as he's not your opponent, then I've met him. He's a good guy, and I think people underestimate his boxing skill. He's obviously won a bronze medal at the Olympics, and so he's no joke either. But he's quite comfortable in just, for instance, like Ortiz, just like waiting patiently, and when he lines up the target, he just takes them out, doesn't he?
Yeah. Are you gonna go at the fight, Joe?
Yeah. I think. But I'll just have to see if Sam can source us some tickets. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't like to miss it.
One more person I wanted to get your thoughts on before I let you go, Joe. It's someone I was just speaking to Sam about. I was with young heavyweight Guido Vianello yesterday, down at the Kevin Barry gym. Someone you've shared rounds with. He's obviously under the same S-Jam banner as you as well. In terms of the wave of heavyweights coming sort of after yourself and Daniel Dubois and the likes of, how excited should we be about that young man, and how good work is it as well when you share the ring with him?
Oh yeah, he's great, Guido. Like, he's such a funny character as well. He's he's proven all the time. His English is getting better, and I'm looking forward to inspiring him this week. And yeah, he's a rising talent. He's very dedicated to boxing, and he's he trains well, and he's technically very good. I remember him, on the Olympic team when he came with Italy. He was only really young then, and he was really good, really skillful back then. And I met him again in David Hayes' gym, and he gave me a run for my money in sparring there. And obviously the second spar was a lot better, but he's very good, and he's with the right. He's got the right setup to get to take it to the top.
Joe, I've kept you for a good while. I appreciate you've had a long day training as well, so I'm going to leave the final word to you. What message would you have for Daniel Dubois ahead of that huge fight in April?
Come at me, I'm going to take you out, mate. He talks about all this, like, put me to sleep business, but he's never been in the ring with anyone such as myself. And I'm just going to find my way to, ram my fist down his throat.
There you go. Joyce, thank you as always for making time for Boxing Social. Best of luck with camp. I'll see you close at the fight.